So today I was diving more into React, Redux, and whole front end thing. Again, I was reading more articles, more into explanation of how React works, and going diving deep more into it. So it's been 2 years. I have almost 2 years, like 1.5, 1.8 years. I have been doing React, uh, and I have been exploring React more deeply, like for the last 2 3 months. Till today, I'm finding more and more things. So, for example, the lifecycle methods, how they work in functional components, these things. I know them, but it's like good refresher on how they work again. What React.render actually does, internally what it does, and how use layout effect works internally, what is concurrent rendering. These things I was going over today. Dan Abramov was telling about how people have a misunderstanding of how React render doesn't actually means it is committing to the DOM. Both are two different processes. There's a conciliation, reconciliation step in between. A pretty amazing stuff. So there's this Mark Dev's blog post I was reading. Then I was reading Dan Abramov post, which was pretty cool. And Dan Abramov was going more detail into how React works, how we all should think of React as a not as a virtual DOM but as UI as a value. So React helps us make UI into a value, which is again very interesting thought process to have. Then all the dependencies that React takes under use when we use callback system. I always thought ki those uses triple equal to compare the dependencies, but it actually uses object.is. And I dove more deep into how object.is works, what is the difference between triple equal, double equal, and object.is. The major difference between object.is, first of all, it is very similar to triple equal, but the only difference between object.is and triple equal would be comparing plus minus 0 and 9. Apart from the revenue page and maybe the those two, but it's interesting that people who make reaction considering that. However, I would say the object of is slow. I should only be object or should only be used when the application number is there or something you don't know the type of concept is there. Yeah. So again, the thing was, the thing is that object plus array gives object. So I was going deep into that, why that happens. So when we concat, when we coerce object into a string, sorry, object into a primitive type, it gets converted into a string by using dot to string method. So that's why it's converted to string. That's what it is returned as. So yeah, which was pretty cool thing to find out. One another thing which I found out long time ago, but again I read it today was no matter what the child is, no matter what the prop is, or even if there is no prop, apparently we just child the tree and unless the component memo whole thing. So pretty cool. I also came across a very good blog called Human That Codes by Nicholas C. Meadows, which is a young engineer, and he has written pretty cool stuff. I saved his blog for reading later, so I will do that. Yeah. So again, I was just reading Dan Applebaum's articles um, about how React works, bunch of stuff. He got going into detail, explaining how React programmatically works, and stuff like that. There was another article by Dan Abramov telling about prettier versus linting. He was nudging to not let the small details matter. So basically, formatting, sorting blocks, sorting imports, all these things should not be part of the link test. Yes, it can come, but the point of link test is to only solve bugs, not catch formatting errors or to make code look aesthetic. So what I will try is I will try to find a plugin for Prettier that also sorts the imports and all these things. It saves a little time. And it's another thing I have observed. So yeah, this one second. Another thing I want to talk about was when we pass down props into a state that doesn't work. I have seen while working with React before. This time I read it in Dan Abramov's article that when we pass down a prop into a state declaration, then any updates to the prop doesn't reflect in the state, which I have seen probably before, but today I just read about it. So it was cool thing to find out. Yeah, there's another package which was very interesting to me, and I will definitely try to use it. It's called Ink, which lets you make compiler stuff using React, which is very interesting application of React where I never thought into. But I guess that is the point of renderer, right? It can render stuff, right? There was another article which I found which tells how to make your own renderer. I have to read that. That will give me a very big insight into how things work under React. I will read that as well. Another thing I found was the way use effect works. So this I did not know about. Now it seems obvious. Back then it did not seem obvious. So when a component is mounted, all the children's use effect, use layout effect, these will run first, and then the panism. It's like bottom up approach towards running use effect. So children use effect which is in children will run first, and then the use effect which is in parent will run first. So that is the order equation, which was very new to find out. Also, in the order of operation, like when the mounting lifecycle methods are called, component is mount, component is update, use layout effect, and after that there is a timeout, which I still don't understand why there is a timeout, but there is a timeout after which the use effect runs. So which is quite interesting. So I'll read more about it. Yeah. Yes, also, React takes care of iOS and Android and these environments for the functionality that is available in only those systems. It was also something obvious which I never thought of. Now it makes me look more deep into that. Yeah, it is a well thought application, not just something that is new. Also, one thing I want to try is using uh, going to my application and checking where the expensive component compute is inside a component, which can help with performance by putting it in the use memo, which I saw in Daba article. Let's see, I will compare which one is better to memorize it or not memorize it. I'll check that. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. So Dan Abramov was also explaining how React works internally, and he came across a very important topic of suppose there are three p tags, and one of the p tags is optional. That means the second one will get removed if some condition is not met. Now what happens is the third one is created, not updated. So first one will stay the same. Second one got removed. Third one will be created again because how React stores children is inside an array. So 1, 2, 3. Second one got removed. The position of the last one changed. Hence, it will create a new element instead of updating it. Wherein, if there was a null, if we replace it using null, then it just does not create the last p tag, but it updates it, which is very interesting because now I will put null everywhere. It's quite interesting. So let's see how that goes. And I'm assuming this will improve some performance. Yeah, so that's about it for today. I will finish articles because from Mark's article I went into some Jamie's article, then I went into that organized article. From there I was reading some other articles. It was a chain of articles and I just finished reading them. So yeah, so that's about it today. Good exploration of React going on. I'm again excited to read stuff. I will again go back to building stuff. I feel like back in stage in some more time. Let's see.